If we want to understand the journey of cloud or what cloud is all about, we have to first understand what was there before cloud. What technologies existed before cloud? This is really important to understand. To do this, we are going to go to 2000s or the beginning of 20th century that we all call. Many of us uh, probably would have been born or we were already born and maybe in the schools, right? So what was happening in 2000s? During the 2000s, the boom of IT technology was beginning and many companies started automating the tasks. The internet evolution started happening. Many tasks and technologies that were present, like wireless, internet, as I mentioned, computer evolution, all of them quickly started. All of this initially began for very big corporate companies. It can be space technology, it can be pharmaceutical, military, etc. If you are converting a lot of automation tasks, then you need hardwares or softwares. Now, how do you build hardwares and softwares? Many new programming languages were getting developed, and hence the boom of IT started. If you observe one common thing in the explanation that I just gave you, what was happening in the 2000s, you will see that a requirement of a software is super important. Now, what exactly is a software? In simple terms, software is nothing but it is multiple lines of code. It is multiple lines of code that when you execute what we call, or you can call it as run, when you run or execute, it performs some action. This is what software is all about in simple words. The key thing to note here is these actions that is going to perform have to be common actions, a very common action. I will give you an example. If you go to a factory, you will see that there is an assembly line. Assembly line is of a common action, right? This is why softwares were developed. Here, we also see a concept called as multiple lines of code. So, how is the code written? In different programming languages, C++, C Sharp, Java, Python, etc. A key point to note here is after these softwares are developed and written, where will they run? Where will the software run? To execute this piece of software, we need a hardware which contains CPU and memory. And these are called as servers. And these servers started getting built. And these servers, once they are built, they had to be maintained, they had to be kept in a place. So many companies started developing their own servers, especially companies like IBM, etc. And IBM, Intel also, Lenovo. There are multiple companies that started developing servers. These servers that when they were getting developed, you will not have one server box, no? You might have 10 like this. You can have tens of servers, 10 times more servers you might have. You need a secure location, power, security, all of this. And then they developed what we call as data centers. Data centers were developed. Now, these data centers were owned by companies. They started maintaining it, and this also evolved a lot of companies. Many companies that we see today as giants, like Google, Apple, Amazon, and many big companies like JP Morgan, JP Morgan, okay, Infosys, and many companies that existed are all evolution of this particular system that we just explained. All of them currently have different pieces of hardware, software, maintainability, data centers, databases, etc. This is what was happening in 2000s. Now, why this is important is what we will understand in the next session. But I hope you got a clear picture on what was exactly happening during the 2000s and what is called as a software boom, what existed before cloud. This is what existed before cloud. That is it for this video, my friends. Speak to you in the next video. Till then, take care. In the previous video, we have understood what was there before cloud and the boom of IT technologies during 2000 or 20th century. In this video, we are going to understand why was cloud technology introduced. If you are wondering cloud technology is new, it is not really. The term cloud technology was first coined in 1950s. Yes, it is as old as that. Cloud computing is nothing but renting computing devices on pay-as-you-go model. Example, let us say you want to buy a place to stay, or you want to stay in a new city for some time. Would you go and buy a house? No, right? You would probably rent it. This is pay-as-you-go model. This is a simple concept that is also followed in cloud technology. But to achieve this, other supporting softwares had to also evolve, and that is why we had not seen cloud technology getting implemented in the early days of 20th century. But during the era, that is the year 2010, like after 10 years of the IT boom, many companies were now considering the ideas of becoming or having high hardware cost because you are trying to develop so many softwares, you're helping so many clients, but also you have a very high hardware cost. What do I mean by this hardware cost exactly? Let us discuss this point now. Hardware cost is nothing but the cost of maintaining the data centers. In the previous video, I explained you how the concept of data center came into picture, right? Now you are aware what a data center is. It is a collection of a lot of servers. What kind of cost will be associated with this? First, we have hardware cost, the cost associated with the servers. Then we have software cost, that is operating systems. You will need Linux operating system or you will need Windows operating system. Next, we need to have good security around it, both physical and application, like security against virus, etc. This also needs to be done. We need to have people to maintain this, and these people you cannot cut down because as your data center grows, you need more people. Then you need to have backup power supply. You also will need backup for internet, etc. You might think that, you know what, all of this is fair to have, right? So why was cloud technology even introduced? Now, let us take an example. You are watching this video and you get an idea to build a startup. Let us say the startup is called as Bakery at Home. So we are going to deliver some bread or jam, okay, or buns, anything, any bakery related items to your house. It is a startup idea. Now you want to test your startup idea. How will you test your startup idea? You need to have a website or you need to have a mobile app. Irrespective of this, we know this is software. This can be built via software. And if you have understood the previous video, then you're also aware that these software require hardware. This hardware come from data center. I think now you are able to relate it, correct? Now remember what I said to you. You got an idea just now, bakery at home. If you want to test this idea, you need hardwares. If you invest all your money to set up a hardware, that is the data center, how will you grow your business? You cannot concentrate on both the direction, right? If you are trying to build a business, you have to actively concentrate on getting the customers into your business model, right? That's the goal. You have to get the business going. You have to get more and more customers to your business. This is called as growth, as I mentioned. But if all your money is going to the data center because you need a hardware and because you need softwares to be built, then you will never be able to implement the idea and even validate the idea. You will never be able to say if this idea was good or bad. The whole point of having a startup or a mentality for you to build anything is removed because of a very high expense that will go to data centers. This is where the cloud technology is coming into play. Imagine if all of this, that is, all the stuff that we just mentioned about the data center, the hardware part, the software part, that is Linux operating system, the security, people, backup, and internet service, if you hand it over to third party company, and you pay as you go. You pay as you go. So if you use something, if you use a hardware, you pay for the hardware according to per hour basis or per memory utilized basis, then you can focus on growing your business. You can focus on how do I acquire my customers. You can focus on how do I build my business. You can focus on making your app look better because you don't have to worry about hardware. You are not making an upfront investment for your hardwares. You're buying third party hardwares, you're going to use it, and you're going to make sure that you have something that you can pay as you go. Now, if your model fails, let us say if your startup idea fails, then you also have a very less loss associated with it. Am I right? Why do you have very less loss? Because you are only paying pay as you go. So if your business is not performing, you will not need more hardwares and you're going to save the money. Isn't this a beautiful idea? And this itself is cloud technology, my friends. That's it. This became active or getting actively used during 2010s. That is just 10 years ago or 12 years ago. That is how new this technology is. And it is why these are one of the reasons why a lot of companies are rushing into this model. Okay, focusing on this video itself, I think now we have answered a very fundamental question, that is, what is cloud computing? To summarize, cloud computing is nothing but renting or using a third-party hardware or compute methodology, and we bill or we give the money in pay-as-you-go model. That's it. This is cloud computing technology. Now that you are aware of this, let us see more information about what is cloud computing technology in the next video. Till then, take care and bye-bye. In the previous video, we have understood why was cloud technology introduced and why it became so popular. Many companies are yet to adapt cloud technology, which means it is a great opportunity for us. But what are the different types of cloud technology that exist? Let us take a deeper look into this information now. There are mainly three kinds of cloud technologies that are present. First one, public cloud. Second one, private cloud. And third one is hybrid cloud. What is a public cloud? If you decide to give 100% utilization, that is, if you say my company is 100% cloud, then you are not owning any hardware. Your company is not owning any hardware. Everything is relied on cloud. Nowadays, a lot of startups are functioning in this manner. This is also one of the reason why we have so many startups, right? Because this is giving them the flexibility to go to pay as you go model and focus on growth, focus on business, and try to make sure their business survive. This approach is public cloud. Now, in terms of security, it is much more safe. Don't go by the name public and confuse that. What about security? It is not so. It is still a separate account, and you have complete autonomy and control over this particular thing. That is the cloud that you will be using. The next one is private cloud. What is a private cloud? Let us take an example of governments. Every government doesn't want to save the information in public cloud. That is, they don't want to rely on a company 100%. It is definitely not a good idea for a government to do that because it has so much of personal information of people, that is, citizens like us, right? So these government companies also enter contract with cloud vendors to build and maintain private cloud. Remember, the government is not directly owning this data center. It is going to contract a cloud provider vendor, to build and take care of this data center. This is called as a private cloud. And needless to say, only government related softwares only government related softwares run on this particular contracted cloud. There are multiple examples of this. The famous example is US Pentagon or government cloud. Nobody has access to it. Nobody knows where it is. And it is taken care by AWS. This is one example. Like that, many examples are there based on different countries. This is called as a private cloud. The third one is called as a hybrid cloud. What is a hybrid cloud? We will take an example of a very big organization that was there in 2000s. Now they would own a data center already, correct? They will already have a data center and they might be owning it. What should they do for this data center? Should they throw this data center away? They cannot, right? They cannot just say that, oh, tomorrow I am moving to cloud. Let me remove everything. It is not possible. So they are trying to approach a methodology that is nothing but hybrid cloud system. That is nothing but hybrid cloud system. In hybrid cloud system, you have probably 60% of your own data center and 40% in public cloud. This is just an example, okay? It can be 50%, 50% also, okay? Or it can be 80%, 10% also. This is a very good example. So who uses this hybrid cloud? Let us take examples of banking domains. They will be using it. We can take an example also of healthcare domains. They will be using such hybrid cloud methodology. I hope it is very clear. These are three different types of cloud systems available. Now, who are the vendors of the cloud? We came across this term, correct? We came across this term called as vendors. Vendors. So, who are these vendors when it comes to cloud? Who are these people who are building this cloud technology, who are selling this cloud technology? These vendors are really important for us, but we will come there. I usually get a question called as, Sir, what is the point in having a private cloud, sir? Is it safe? Definitely. Private cloud is safe and it is very common. It is very, very common and it is used heavily. Okay. Private cloud is very common. I will give you some example. Already gave you an example. If you take the idea of Aadhaar card in India, where is all this stored? It will be stored in data center. But is government only maintaining this data center? We don't know. It cannot also. It doesn't have the capacity because it has so much of things to do. It would have requested a cloud vendor to take care of it. Similar way, Amazon has developed one for USA. So these are very common, and you can also take this approach in the companies. This is what is called as private cloud, and it is very common. Okay, so that is it for this video. I hope you have a clear picture on different kinds of cloud technologies that are present, different types of cloud technologies that are present. and you have a clear idea on what are these types, why they exist, and what are the meanings of it. Let us see in next video what are the different cloud vendors and how should I understand them, and more about the cloud career in the upcoming videos. Till then, take care and bye. Previous video we have understood different types of cloud. A term popped up that is nothing but cloud vendors. Who are these different cloud vendors? What is the existing status of the cloud technology? We will try to understand that in this particular video. There are different cloud technology vendors available, and the three major ones. I'm only focusing on three major ones here. That is AWS Cloud, Google Cloud, Azure Cloud. There is also Alibaba Cloud. Yes, there is Alibaba Cloud. Also, we have OpenStack Cloud. There are hundreds of different cloud technologies available, but three of them are really main. The reason why these three are important is we can easily say they are market leaders. What is the term market leaders? Let us take an example. If you want to buy a car, you already know that Maruti can be a good car. You already know that a Swift Desire can be a good car. You already know a Range Rover is a good car. This is called as a market leaders, right? Now, if there is a new car company, you might think a bit. This itself is terminology itself is used here. Nothing is new. Okay. So here I am telling that AWS, Google Cloud, and Azure are market leaders. The meaning here is many companies have adopted this. It is a proven technology, easy to use, and because many companies have adapted this, you will also find a lot of resources who can help you in the IT market. You can hire people much faster. Now, all of these three companies have to compete, and they're competing. They're adding new features every day. As we speak today, there will be a new feature. Many companies have already started using cloud, and many are adapting still. Why this last point, that is many companies that are already using cloud and many companies are still adapting, is important? Because that is the confidence. This is the line that has to give you the confidence to tell you that if you start learning cloud even today, you can get a job. It is possible to get a job, because if companies have already adapted, they need people to maintain it. Am I right? And if companies are going to adapt it, then they need people who know cloud technology. Either way, if you practice and learn cloud technologies properly, there is market available for you. That is, there is an open market available for you. Companies are hiring. You should be able to get a job if you start even learning today. Which background you come from doesn't matter. Which technology you come from doesn't matter. How many experience you have doesn't matter. If you have a break in your career doesn't matter. What is important for you to understand is cloud technology is getting adapted, and many companies are yet to start. And the people who have already started using it, they need more people to adapt it. Isn't it right? This is one of the reasons why you should try to learn cloud technologies. Okay, more about how to plan your career and how to start learning this will come in the next videos. One common question that will appear for you is, okay, this is all fine, but you explained three market leaders. Which one should I choose? You explained three different market leaders. Which one should I choose? Which is the best in the market? I will answer this particular topic definitely, but in the next video. Till then, thank you. Now it is time for us to discuss which cloud technology should I learn. We have three main cloud technologies available: AWS, Google, and Microsoft Azure. Which should I learn to get a job immediately? I want you to listen to me very carefully, because this is a very important topic. So let us say that I recommend go for Microsoft Azure, you will get a job. If you think that if this is the right way to do it, then it is wrong. Imagine if there is one clear winner, won't everyone learn the same cloud technology and get a job? Correct? So it is not that simple. And that is why I want you to observe this carefully. If you just pick any cloud technology here and if you think there is a guaranteed job out there, it is not the case. But there is a way to understand which one I should learn. First, I will take the example of freshers or people who are not having any IT background. Now, the state that you are currently in, for you, everything is new. When everything is new, you would like to get more information from it, more examples from it. So, more information, more example, okay, more example, and more videos, let us say, or people who can teach it. People who can teach it. Based on this metric, let us try to think which cloud technology suits you. If you're a fresher and you're new to IT background or no IT background, for example, then I recommend to go with AWS because AWS is one, it is the market leader, it is having the first rank. Okay. Two, you will find a lot of information for it. You will have more examples of it, and you will have more videos and more people teaching AWS. AWS certification, which is called as Solution Architect SAA02, is a very famous certification. You will find plenty of Udemy courses. You will find plenty of people who to teach these courses, who can guide you, who can help you to achieve this result. This is why I would recommend anyone who is a fresher or non-IT background to go with AWS. Okay, so what about the other cloud technologies? So if I don't learn AWS, let us say I want to learn Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, won't it help me? It will definitely help you. But remember, more information, more example, more videos and people are the three key metrics that you should remember. I will now take an example of someone who has, who is already in IT, but is not from software background. You are not from software background. So, which cloud technology should I learn? Obviously, the first answer I always recommend is even for this is AWS. But remember, you are in IT and maybe your company is using cloud already. Now try to see which cloud it is. Which cloud is my company using? If the answer is GCP, that is Google Cloud, or if the answer is Azure, then try to learn these two and try to make an internal switch. Internal switch. This internal switch is very important for you in your career because once you do the internal switch, you are a cloud engineer, you get hands-on experience, work for 6 months, then you will find a job outside very easily in Google Cloud or Microsoft Azure. But apart from this, if you are not having any clue where to start, my recommendation is to go with AWS. Again, I will repeat. Why? Because more information is available in the internet, more documentation is available. There is a lot of example. We have plenty of videos and plenty of trainings available for AWS. And one key metric, remember, please observe, one key metric I recommend you to do is after watching this video or my sessions, you go to LinkedIn. And in the LinkedIn, you find some jobs, okay, cloud related jobs, and try to see which cloud they're asking more. This experiment, you do it yourself, and this will also help you. But I will have a very, very straight answer to you in terms of doubt. Okay. If you're thinking, okay, what if I learn AWS and then if you change your mind to cloud, it will not help. If you change your mind to Google Cloud, it will not help. Once you have decided, stick with it and complete that course. This is going to give you a lot of confidence in moving ahead. I believe I have answered the very important question that is which cloud to pick in a detailed manner, and I hope this is helpful. Speak to you in the next video. In the previous video, I gave you a small exercise that is to go to LinkedIn and do a job search and to understand what cloud technologies they're asking, right? Okay, but what is the job titles that one might get after learning cloud technology, right? So here in this video, I would like to explain certain cloud technology or certain cloud technology profiles that you will find in LinkedIn. The first one being AWS Solution Architect, if you have chosen AWS, or GCP also has certification, and Azure also has certification. You can pick any one of these. Next, Cloud Support Engineer, Cloud Engineer, and AWS DevOps Engineer. Now, what is DevOps? Don't get confused with DevOps and AWS. DevOps is a very big, a vast methodology of working. It is development and operation. It's a completely different sector. Now, why I would suggest not to focus on it immediately is remember all of this I'm explaining, and I am expecting that you are someone who is new to IT or who is a fresher or who has a gap or who is in a, let's say, very high position and just want to learn some technology. If you try to go to the DevOps training right away, maybe it is not suitable for you at this point of time. That is why don't get confused about the word DevOps at this point of time. Let us focus on what is cloud computing and have we understood that, right? Okay. So these are some of the job profiles that you can look in LinkedIn. So you can filter out these job profiles. Try to see what these job profiles are. What are these different kinds of job profiles that are present? And to understand, is this job profile that will suit you? Okay. Needless to say, I should remind you one thing is that these job profiles are very, very hot and they will remain very hot for a long time. What do I mean by very hot? Meaning they are coming up like, 10 job profiles a day, 20 job profiles a day in a particular city or a particular company. The reason is very simple. It is because a lot of companies are planning to move to cloud or they already are in cloud and getting new projects. Okay. So these are some career that you will be getting if you master cloud technologies. Now, how should I plan my roadmap? How should I plan everything? How should I start learning? I will explain this in the next video. Till then, take care. Thank you. So, how do I plan my future? How should my future roadmap look like? Pick any cloud technology based on whatever you have understood from a previous video and then start learning it today. Yes, please start learning it today. Okay? It's already late. So make up your mind. It can be any cloud technology, it doesn't matter. Start learning today. Now have a plan and stick to the course. Why is this important? This is the most important thing, my friends. Please, why is it important? I have seen a lot of students, they buy a course. They follow it for 2, 3 days and then they forget it. Why? Why are you spending so much money and leaving it in, let's say, 2, 3 days? Don't you want to become a cloud engineer? Don't you want to get into IT or don't you want to succeed in your career and change your job? So if that is the case, then stick to your plan. Finish the course. You don't have to understand everything at once, okay? Many people think that whatever I'm seeing, I have to understand it. Whatever they are saying, I have to understand it. No, don't. It is fine. Stick with the plan and finish the course. Pick any course in Udemy or go and join any institute that you feel you like, okay? But stick with that course, understand what they are trying to teach. If you don't understand, you will have the recording, right? Listen to that afterwards and try to master it. As simple as it is, my friends. That's it, okay? If you don't have a plan, if you don't follow the plan, then it is not possible. If you are watching this video, then you have watched all my previous videos, right? So you took some time, that is plan. You have completed some videos, that is the idea. If you have done that, I'm confident that you can do it. So stick to a plan and stick to a course. Only the course will never help you to get a job. Your research is important. You have to actively keep on researching in LinkedIn. You have to actively keep on seeing what I can learn more. Just by taking a course, if you think I can get a job, then imagine everyone would have done it and everyone would have got the job, right? It is not that simple. You have to prepare for interviews, you have to ask questions, you have to see what they're trying to tell. All of this is what is going to get you a job, and that is important in all the different directions that I'm speaking. Okay, spending one concentrated an hour per day can get you a result quickly. Many students ask me, sir, how much hours I have to spend? Nothing. You have to spend 1 hour per day. That's it. 1 hour per day, concentrated. It is the keyword. You should not be using your mobile phones. You should not be opening some 3 4 tabs in your Chrome browser and watching some YouTube videos. No, 1 hour you concentrate. 1 hour you say to yourself, this hour I'm going to concentrate on this particular course video, any course video for that matter. I'm going to concentrate on that and learn. I might not understand everything what they are saying, but I will learn. I will try to listen to this. If you plan like this, definitely it is possible. Okay. Remember, I'm here to give you what you have to do, but it is you who should do it. Correct? Next, take up a certification. It proves your commitment. One of the common questions I get, sir, if I do a certification, will I get a job? No. If people are telling you and people are selling you this idea that if you take a certification, you will get a job, again, you only think. If everyone followed the same approach, everybody would have got a job, right? That is not the case. But certification proves a commitment. Today, you have a 10th degree certificate or 10th, 12th certificate, correct? You have a driving license. What does it prove? It proves that you have put the time to learn something. This shows commitment. For someone who is a fresher, for someone who is new to IT, the commitment will show a lot of positive messages in the interview. The interviewers are going to think, yes, this person is not from IT, but he tried to answer most of the question. He has also taken certification. He lacks some bit of knowledge, but let us train him. So they might extend the offer if you perform well in the interview. This is my future roadmap, okay? And not a very important point to mention is if you're finished watching all of these videos, now you are eligible for the 30 minutes free career related discussions. And you can discuss if you have any questions that you want to ask me. Sir, I went through this video. I want to ask you some questions. It is time to ask. You can leave me a message in WhatsApp or you can email me with a screenshot of 100% completion. This should appear in the left side of the screen. Let me know, and I will give you some time slots where we will discuss further regarding your career. Okay. I hope this course was super helpful for you. If it is, then leave me a message and I wish you a good luck. Thank you. Hello. In this video, I will be explaining you how to choose a training to become a cloud engineer. Obviously, I will not be pitching my own training here, don't worry, but I will give you my genuine opinion on what you should consider before picking any training. If you pick any training, it doesn't matter where you pick, usually all the contents are standardized. The teaching style only varies. What is important is you have to first understand, are you a self-learner or are you a person who likes to be guided in a personal training? There is no harm in telling I am a self-learner, or there is no harm in telling I like in-person training. It depends on your choice. So first ask this question to yourself. Now, if you are a self-learner, then there are hundreds of videos in YouTube or Udemy. Pick this course and go and start learning. Remember, being a self-learner, you get at most flexibility on when you learn, but you should be motivated to continue learning. One of the biggest problem I see with self-learners is they take a course, they buy a course, let us say in Udemy, YouTube, or anywhere, but then they don't really complete it. What's the point? Aren't you motivated enough to finish your goal? So this is important and you have to remember. One of the advantages for self-learner is the prices can be cheap because you don't have to pay someone to come online to teach. The second option is guided training in person. You can find a lot of training online. which is usually a guided training. A guided training is done by a proficient, an industry expert, cloud engineer who have seen multiple issues in cloud and can explain different kinds of scenarios and convey you the concepts. Now, with this particular training, you should evaluate if the trainer has good knowledge. Now, how do you evaluate it? Ask some questions. See if you can understand what the trainer is explaining you. The questions should not be asked in the idea of checking the knowledge of the trainer. No, they will know. But when they explain you something, are you able to understand? This is what you're supposed to ask. Second point, during the training, can you ask questions? Why is this important? Because many of these trainings that we just spoke, they are all group-led training, meaning there can be 20 people in the class, there can be 30 people in the class. Sometimes you might not be feeling comfortable to ask questions in such kinds of scenarios. So you have to understand, am I good for this kinds of training? The last point is, can I commit myself to attend all the sessions? Please remember, online training that is given by a training center, which is delivered by a trainer, they follow a schedule. Let us say every day morning, 6:30 a.m., they have a class. The classes can be for 30 days. One of the thing that you should remember is you have to attend all the 30 days. If you miss one or two classes thinking, I will listen to this later in the recording, I will take care of this later, then it is not going to work. You are missing out. Remember, you are paying the money for in-person training. Don't convert it to a recorded session. If you are converting everything to recorded session and saying, I will learn that later, I will learn that later, then you can also buy a Udemy course, correct? So in-person training requires commitment and the prices will be high because there is a trainer delivering this training, which means there is a high cost. Now, take a moment to understand what kind of a learner you are. Based on that, you can pick the training. I hope I have answered this question in the detailed manner. If you have any doubts, make a note of it. And once you complete this course and when you meet me for the 30 minutes career discussion, you can ask those questions and I will definitely answer. Till then, take care and bye.